So I have been posting about my life in Korea for a while now. I've been posting about the food, the language, settling in with kids, bits and bobs about my research, but I have never talked about why I'm actually here. So the Fulbright program brought me to Korea, and I think it's time I changed that. I applied because I felt like it was a moment to put everything together. First, the language. I have been learning Korean for almost a decade. Also, the research. I wanted to know if the work I do in the US around health outcomes, cancer survivorship, could mean something in a completely different context. And I also wanted to explore whether the frameworks I use in the US could travel and what they would look like when they arrive somewhere new, right? And personally, again, I've been learning Korean for nearly a decade, and the Fulbright felt like, the moment to put everything together. And for the relationships, I've always been culturally curious. So Fulbright felt like the right mechanism for all of that. But there's also another layer. I'm not just American. I am Nigerian. I was born in Lagos, got my advanced degrees in the US, and landing in Korea with a thought framework that most people don't arrive with. I had theorized for years that cultures are far more alike than what separates them. Korea proved that. As a matter of fact, my podcast was built on that premise. I say, as an interlocutor, my goal as a host is to tease that same different thread that runs through all of us. And Korea proved that. And coming here, not as a Western researcher, but as someone who already carried a thought frame, and that frame kept finding mirrors everywhere I looked. Now, here's what I didn't expect, that Korea would help see a pattern in me. Everything, my love for culture, language, community, people, how they move through systems, it started making sense. I could see the lines forming between the data points. So last night, Fulbright Korea held an inaugural dinner, which combined, scholars, students, the Korean Ministry of Education, the U.S. Department of State, where the Fulbright program is housed under. And I left that room thinking about health diplomacy, about sitting at a table where gaps between communities actually get addressed, about health systems, about policy, about people, lots and lots of people. And a future just flashed in front of me. I don't have a title for that life yet, but I know the difference between a hypothesis and a feeling. And let me let you know that last night felt like data. If you know me, you know I'm not one to publicly talk about ideas that are still budding. The perfectionist in me doesn't do that. But I want to break out of that mode. So I'm using this platform to just say, watch this space. Come 5, 10 years from now on, there are going to be some big changes in my life at a global level. And I want to be able to say you heard it here first. To anyone considering a Fulbright, go. Go. You probably would be stressed out about the whole process. The logistics isn't easy, but it's worth it. If I could describe my Fulbright experience so far, I would say it's been expansive because it has expanded everything. My research, my relationships, my understanding of what health looks like across cultures, and honestly, my understanding of myself as a scholar and as a person, right? And for the upcoming scholars, I want to just say, sure, before you even get here, learn the language, even if it's crooked, right? Say yes to the dinner invitations, even when you're tired. Eat everything that is offered. The research will be important, but the relationships will last longer. And remember that you're not just a scholar here, you're a bridge. The people you meet, the meals you share, the strangers who help you find your way, all of it is part of the exchange. Document everything, not just your data and your findings, but your observations, your feelings, your surprises, your contradictions. Write about it, whether it's through a podcast, a journal, a voice note to yourself. Document everything. You'll be glad you did when you're trying to remember how it felt to be exactly here, exactly now. And finally, stay longer than a tourist, and I mean that in the metaphorical sense of the word. The surface is so shallow, right? There's nothing really quite there. It's in the contradictions, the gap between what a culture presents and what it actually is. That's where you find real humanity. That is where curiosity lives, because the world does not need more tolerance. Tolerance is too cold. We need more curiosity. Curiosity is what actually closes the distance, okay? So Wish me luck in my future. And if you have any questions about Fulbright, what is it, what it is, what it's like, how to apply, drop them down below. I should have talked about it sooner, but better late than never. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.